Hello friends, family, and other creatures of the sea. Welcome back to High Level Game of StarCraft 2. Today we have Liquid Clem in the bottom left corner here of Alcyone versus none other than Christianer in the top right of the map. Now, this is a very fun matchup to me. Most of you will know Clem. Clem is the current world champion, and even before that he was fairly well known as a player that was extremely good, often placing high in tournaments. Christianer, all of you might not be so familiar with. And that is very sad because Christianer is really freaking funny. Christianer is the nemesis of basically every single player on ladder. Christianer tends to play kind of a, I don't want to call it brain dead, but kind of a brain dead style. You know, he makes the game as easy as possible for himself, and then he executes very well, and he has very good results. Is he a little bit limited in his repertoire that he has? Sure. But are the results good? Also sure. Whenever you hear Terrans or Protosses complain about something, Terrans, Protoss, or Zergs complain about something, so any race really, it's very often about something Christianer does, because it seems like the execution of it is so simple. Why don't all the other tosses just do it? Very frequently it's because what Christianer is doing isn't actually that simple, and there's some tricks to the trade. Sometimes you look at it and go like, I feel like I could do that. So I know Clem has, complained about stuff that he does in the past. I know a lot of other Terrans complain about the stuff that he does in the past. So I figured, you know what? Let's have a look at how this man actually plays. What is it like to be Christianer in a Protoss versus Terran? And we're going to figure that out here today. I think there's a second probe going down here. That is not a great start. I'm not sure if I should copy this as well. Usually if you open up with a Zealot, the goal of the Zealot is to, first of all, deny the bunker, and then to not lose any workers in the main base. If you build a Zealot, which costs you 100 minerals, you cut a worker out, so you're already down basically a worker and a half from a standard spot, and then you lose 3 workers to a single Reaper, you're down much further than you would like to be. Yes, of course, this proxy barracks was very close, and it is a significant investment out of Clem, but economically speaking, this isn't really that bad for Clem. Like, it's not brilliant, but it's also not the end of the world. Like, his CC went down, sure, on the high ground, but about 3 minutes and 30 seconds into the game. That is maybe 10, 12 seconds delayed from a regular double gas opener. So by no stretch of the imagination is this very all in. This is actually a pretty normal build order. Losing 5 workers in the first 3 minutes, that is freaking painful. Not a great start here for Christianer. That's going to make it all the more impressive when he inevitably is going to show us some of his magic, which I've been told about. One thing to note, whenever Terran players proxy a barracks very close to your base, is that the barracks needs to fly back home, and it takes a very long time. So first 2 Reapers got constructed, barracks picks up, flies back, takes maybe 45, 50, 60 seconds, something like this. During that period, we have no marine production whatsoever. And that means that majority of the time, when you have a proxy barracks very close to your base as the Protoss player, is that you don't have to be afraid of follow-up 1-1-1 tank pushes. The first serious push that they can kind of go for is some type of 3-Rex play. So it's Stim and Combat Shield. Of course, harassment is possible. They have a fast factory, they have a quick starport as well. But as a Protoss player, you're not afraid of marine-based pushes. So things with tanks, really just things with tanks, like Marine Cyclone, also not much of an issue. So you're usually preparing for something along those lines, like a double Cyclone drop, a triple Mine drop. We've seen Hellion drops as a follow-up as well. We see Christianer with a very solid defense here, almost manages to get that medevac, but Clem saves it with just 14 HP remaining. It's now going to drop on the low ground, needs to be careful. Blink is about 30-40 seconds away here, depending on the chrono boost situation. Island is most likely gonna fall. I think Clem is reading this correctly, by the way. These are not super difficult reads to make, knowing that Blink won't be here yet, but I'm still not positive that everyone would have made that same read. He's actually gonna give up a Cyclone because this medevac was so low. I think he was a little bit afraid of Blink. Oh. Poor Clem. So it's gonna lose a unit there. What do we see out of Christianer? It's 2 gates. It is Stalkers. We have an Immortal that is being built. Surprising. Actually quite surprising for me, because usually we see a faster rush into a Robo Bay rather than Immortals initially. Immortals are more for the short term. They're very good against no stim, no combat shield, kind of those marine tank pushes I was talking about earlier. But as I've explained, those pushes are actually not viable to execute with a proxy barracks. Like the first push is going to usually hit with some type of stim timing. And as I say that, of course, we have Clem moving across the map with 2 tanks, a bunch of marines. I would not be afraid of this if I was Christianer. You can meet this head on with 4 or 5 stalkers. This marine count is not very good yet. And I think what Clem wants to do is just set up a position somewhere near the opponent's base so that he doesn't have to walk across the map later once the stalker numbers are bigger. I'd be shocked if he decides to push in here. I think that would be a mistake. But I'm not entirely sure about this engagement here out of Christianer either. It's gonna blink back now a little bit. Tanks are sieging up. This feels extremely risky out of Clem here. He's lucky there is no charge. If charge had finished and we get like a 4 Zealot warp in at this point, this is just going to get completely wrecked. Like completely wrecked. And even now, I think a blink forward here could do wonders indeed. No stim, no combat shield. Good pickup though on that tank. Beautiful save out of Clem. Completely turning that fight around. A lot of stalker shots were missed there. And also that tank just adding in a little bit of extra DPS is a big deal. Marine count is very, very low. We have extra gateways coming in right now. It is 59 workers to 52. A third CC is being built in position. Blink forward on these tanks. There we go. One tank goes down as the Immortals will now snipe the final tank. Do we have a super battery available? We do not, but the Immortal control is actually great here out of Christianer. Keep those stalkers alive as well. And yeah, this team should not deal that much damage. Gonna get 1 Immortal, but loses 5 extra Marines. Christianer survives, is up in supply, has the potential to tech into Colossus pretty much instantly. Medevac count isn't great, tank count is non-existent. This, by any metric, is just a failed push. Clem is now going to try to salvage the situation by going in for a single drop. If this drop gets cleared without dealing significant damage, Clem is actually in some trouble. Ooh, Cristiano holding off there on blinking forward. Wanted to truly catch it without losing all of his stalkers. Does allow Clem to escape. That's 4 probes for 2 marines, a trade that Clem is very happy to make. Christianer as a second robotics facility goes into Colossus. Has 3 Immortals out already. Clem setting up to start mining from his 3rd base. Overall, this situation, I'd much rather be placed in the spot of Christianer than in the spot of Clem right now. And then I'm saying that even knowing that Clem is the superior player once the game goes longer. Like, I think Christianer's spot is extremely good at this moment. Extremely good. He has 6 gateways done already. He's building 2 more. Has a 4th base on the way. His upgrades are fine. It's not great, but halfway through +1 while the opponent is starting +1 armor. That is an okay ratio of upgrades. I think the one thing I am missing is a 2nd fort. I'd love to see that. It's getting those extra upgrades. Clem is planning on moving out once more. This is with a single tank, no mines. There's, okay, 2 mines. Single tank, 2 mines. Charge is not done yet though. This is actually going to really hurt Christianer's chances of obliterating this push. I think if charge is done here, what do we have? We have like 12, we have 16 Zealots against an army with, I mean, virtually no splash. This should be a walkover fight if charge is done. Charge is gonna finish kind of soonish. It's like 10-15 seconds away. Christianer needs to win some time though. Oh, misses that Widow mine. Would love for him to clear that first. It's not getting it quite. Single tank is definitely helping out. Christianer now goes in and just has a really big army. There's 3 Immortals or 2 Immortals in here as well. Pulls the Zealots back after the initial charge. Good control here out of the Polish Protoss player, who yeah, is just gonna clean this up. And that Purification Nova does not get the hit as the Disruptor ends up getting cleaned up. But boy, that was fairly close. Zealots now moving forward. It's 150 supply to 120. As Christianer gets the cleanup. What does he have behind this? More Disruptors coming in. We have a single Marine flank. Not the greatest thing in the world, but perhaps good enough. Christianer needs Observers to deal with this. He probably needs a Prism for quicker reinforcements as well. We had some harassment over here. I'm not sure what it was, but 7 workers end up falling. +2 starts too. Okay, there we go. 1 mine gets taken out. 4th base could get cancelled here. If that's the case, Christianer's going to be in a banging spot because he has a 5th already coming in. Zealots being split off into the 3rd base as well. The mines burrow, but they die before they get to do anything useful with their life. Colossus now taking quite a bit of damage, are being microed back. Perhaps a Purification Nova for the retreat. There we go. We have a... Oh, it's a Raven that was doing all of this. Single battery could fix a lot of those issues. Here comes a new Purification Nova. Not gonna connect. You're playing against Clem, not against Harstem's off-race Christianer. Nice try though. Viking count is now rising to a reasonable number. Medevac count is also decent. And where before it was 150 supply to 120, now it's 160 to 160. And Clem's army composition is actually getting quite a bit better. Quite a bit better indeed. New Purification Nova is gonna hit those double mines. Ooh, we don't have a pull away. One mine kills 3-4 Zealots there. Splashes on a couple of others. Another snipe on a Disruptor. Stalker count not big enough to clear any of these medevacs. Christianer's gonna go again here. Just kind of keeps running into this wall. I'm not sure how steady this wall still is. 9 workers go down. Second Purification Nova comes out. Is that going to hit anything? The answer is, well, not a whole lot so far. Do we have another one? Yep, there we go. Vikings need to split off. Don't get to pick up. Don't go into that, I think it's called fighter mode when they're in the air. 10 workers falling. Clem very quick at rebuilding them and is also setting up his fort base. Oh, this is a good Purification Nova. Takes out 2-3 ghosts. A very big hit indeed. Christianer, I think, just needs to sit back for a millisecond here. Add 2-3 more of those Disruptors and then probably can just continue going. Christianer says, no, I actually just want to continue going right now. I'm having a very good time. What the hell are you on about? Purification Nova's coming in forward, just hitting a single Marauder. This is the beauty of Clem, of course. Against most players, you would hit much, much more. Good control on these SCVs down here as well. This is an extremely active, aggressive game, where Clem so far is getting the shorter end of the stick, but he continues just picking up individual Disruptors. If Clem hadn't been doing that, the Disruptor count right now would be insane. You could say, why don't you just run away and split away? Well, you need to clear those Disruptors if you want to keep fighting. So sometimes Clem takes maybe a bad trade in the moment, but a good trade in the long term. And he's managed to pick off 7 Disruptors now already. And if this was 9 Disruptors, it would be a very different fight, even if Clem had maybe 20, 25 more supply. Whatever, how much supply it cost him to snipe these bad boys. It's tricky micro, and he always walks the line there. Ooh. Zealot run by to the bottom side. Kind of waiting for that big Purification Nova, but it never comes. You know, it's like a... Like, you know you need to sneeze and you're looking into the sun because that's how you trigger it. And it's just not coming. It's very frustrating. This should die. Oh, Clem there with a moment of hesitation. And immediately, gets blasted for it basically. Minus like 15, 20 supply there. Just, I don't think he was paying attention. And then he was too late with realizing that he could just stim forward and right click it. Big risk there for Christianer, but pays off. Well, big risk is that he risks a single Disruptor with a pretty significant payoff potentially. It's 192 supply to 160. We have a very poor army quality here as well, which is something we shouldn't forget. This is poor control though on Christianer's part. He tanks the mines with Zealots and then sends in the Purification Nova. That is not good. Let's see if he can go again. We only have 3 Disruptors. This is a very... Or sorry, 4 Disruptors. This is a very Zealot-heavy army. Clem is adding in some more Ghost here. The Viking count is at 4 against 2 Colossus. Upgrades not brilliant here for Christianer, who's still working off just a single forge. Clem manages to sneak out 2 medevacs, and this is the type of play that you need. When someone is putting on a lot of pressure, this is the hardest thing to do, but it's often also the correct thing to do. It's saying, hey, if I can get a drop in your base, I can maybe deal some damage. And maybe my fights here, yes, they're going to be a little worse for a sec, but if I can clear 20, 25 workers, I'm going to be banging it out. Purification Nova is not quite hitting yet. 12 work going down on the side of Clem. Clem needs to deal some serious damage on the other side of the map as the CC is falling lower and lower. Does get taken out. Clem takes a risk and so far has not paid off here whatsoever. Just lost his 3rd base. He's losing a lot of army. Does manage to clear one of those Colossus. The Viking count I don't think is big enough if the Stalkers focus well. These Vikings should end up falling. Purification Nova is coming in forward as well. Zealots now being warped in, but there's not enough gates to clear this at once. Super battery activated. Triple Robo still pumping. I think it is recall time over here. Maybe one more Purification Nova and then a recall. No. These Disruptors could be potentially in a little bit of trouble. The double drops, they stay alive. Do end up getting pushed back by, I think, the 2nd warp in. Here comes another Purification Nova. Does get to connect. Clem a little bit over eager here. He's down 14 workers. He's down 2 bases currently, as it's 3 base versus 5. Natural is practically empty, main is practically empty, third is practically empty. It's going to be the same here for Clem. Main is empty, natural is empty. Does the good old Terran trick, floats the main base over towards where the third once was. Is building a 5th CC, or I guess a 4th CC now that he's lost the third. Raven back into action as well. It's going to right-click down this battery and still take out 1 or 2 workers as well. Needs to rebuild the battery instantly. 6th base on the way for Cristiano, who's defending with the Disruptor Zealot. Not the greatest drop defense, but perhaps good enough. Cristiano needs to warp in some Stalkers to eventually deal with these medevacs. This has been an extremely action-packed game for, honestly, the past 10 minutes, I want to say. It's like we've been doing constant fighting and a very attractive playstyle out of both. Both of them not wanting the game to go too long. Not sure why Clem doesn't want it to go too long, because he's pretty freaking good in the late game, but I love to see it. Cristiano, such a cutthroat player. Now it's going to bring in some more Colossus. Medevac count is good. Viking count is non-existent. And if there's 3 Colossus on the map, that could actually be an issue. Blink? No, not getting a blink. If Cristiano manages to actually move out at this point, I'm having a very difficult time seeing how Clem is going to hold. I just don't quite understand. Maybe you guys can help me, but this man has 10 medevacs. Medevacs are great at healing, but not quite as great at shooting anything else. This is a lovely move. Cristiano's ready to pounce on this base. Like, wait a second, you don't have it? Well, are you poor? you poor, lol? And he's like, all right, back to the third, boys. Like, you rebuild it. Very nice. Gonna walk into some more mine shots. Hold position. Purification Nova. Could try and blink forward to clear this orbital command. He's gonna get it here. Absolutely. That's the second time this base is gonna get taken out. I'm still not entirely sure what Clem is planning on doing. He pretends like he wants to go for a flank. That's a trick I would love to see against 3 Colossus. Upgrades, however, are now going to lean slightly in Clem's favor. Clem's army is at 109. Look at that Marine core over here. If you can target that down with Colossus, you're in a banging position, my friends. A banging position. Let's take a look at this fight. How do the Colossus target? Oh my god, Clem is godly so far. None of these Purification Novas actually hitting anything. It's like he's playing with a zoomed out view. That's how well Clem tends to micro. And this was an extraordinary fight for Clem. Once again, Purification Nova just not hitting here whatsoever. As Colossus barely gonna get taken out, at least one of them. Cristiano still in a massive lead though. That was a sick fight out of Clem. That should not happen like that. Clem was down in everything. He had a much worse army and much less supply as well. I think down like 25 supply. And the fact that you have no Vikings against 2-3 Colossus, that is a very big deal. Clem has managed to take out 2 of those Colossus. And now really all Clem needs to do is pray for a miracle and make sure that that miracle actually happens as well. You know, we need some executional power from the miracle maker here. Because this is going to be very hard. Now, the one good thing for Clem is that Cristiano is on a low worker count. Cristiano could be taking a 7th, an 8th, a 9th, and a 10th base and be going up to 76, 77, 81 workers or so. And that would be phenomenal. Clem once again finds the mental energy to split off a single drop. And we're really 10, 15 workers away from Cristiano actually being in some trouble. Don't forget that this gold is about to mine out. A lot of the income is coming from that gold. We haven't rebuilt a new base yet. There's a Marine here up top. We get an unload. Clem knows that there is a base here. That's why he's doing that. He is F2ing back a big portion of the group. Okay, we're going to get a stim in forward. I feel like something happened here. I'm not sure what, but it doesn't look great. We have a single pylon. I don't think it's going to be capable of warping in. Do we have a Dark Shrine? No, we don't. There's 11 gates. Ooh, we're going to get a recall of a significant portion of this army. But the drop gets to survive, and this feels good. If you're Cristiano, it's like, oh, cheeky little recall. Great, but you're giving Clem a little bit of momentum here. Zealots now trying to move in to clear this planetary. Where's that drop, by the way? Did it die? Okay, it's still here. Drop still here on the right side. Zealots now being pushed back. Disruptor count is phenomenal, though. What's the Viking count at? If it's higher than 6? No, it's not. It's 4. I guess there's only a single Colossus. That's fine. That's completely fine. Mines need to borrow. Clem's positioning is good. It's gonna move this army back. I would have loved to see that maybe go for a base trade. Clem knows best. Ghost moves forward looking for a cheeky EMP. All of these Zealots are already without shields. As the Colossus goes down. Purification Nova actually hits right in the middle of that clump. Army's gonna come back, and Clem does know best, because this could be a very fruitful surround here. There's 2 Purification Novas remaining, 1 to the left. Does not hit anything except one little Marine. This one's gonna hit a bigger chunk of units. I think a Ghost was in there too. Control of Clem, I think, is just a little bit too good. I mean, he ends up sniping, I think, 4 Disruptors here before the reinforcements arrive. This is going to hit just 2 Marines as well. Maybe 1 more Disruptor is gonna fall as Colossus show up. We still have 2.4k in the bank for Christianer. Clem just barely hanging on by a thread. Resources lost is even. This is extremely uncommon in PvT. Usually, Protoss is behind in the resources lost, especially this late in the game, because the Terran army is a bit more effective. But because Christianer is fighting up with 30, 40 supply, he's actually getting somewhat efficient trades. He does still need to be really careful because his worker count is starting to suck massively. He lost another 7 workers. His money bank is actually somewhat running out right now. Yes, Clem is only on 2 mining bases. Make that actually 1.5. He's flying his orbital command over towards the top. If this OC dies, oh, Clem is in a world of trouble, and I think he's just gonna die. If Christianer pays attention here, he will get this. That is a free base there, my friend. No, he's gonna ignore it to go for the planetary instead. An interesting call. Planetary is also pretty much gonna be free. Purification Novas coming in. Colossus gets sniped here. Clem at 88 supply against 127. Has a double drop heading towards the bottom side. We still have a Raven nearby as well. This is a planetary position. It is difficult to fight into, even if you're up 1,000,000 supply. This drop is gonna get cleared, or at least there are enough units to stop it. I don't think you can actually follow, chase, and kill this army. A couple more Zealots are gonna end up falling here as well. Clem is re-establishing this base. Purification Nova is gonna hit, what's that, 12 workers? 12 workers. That is a good trade for 1 Disruptor. Mine's gonna connect. Zealots now hitting those Ghosts, and I think this is just going to be a bit too much for Clem. I don't see a way out for him anymore. He does still have his army. He managed to maneuver past his opponent's army. Christianer is just going to continue chasing. Boy, how many Zealots has this guy lost at this point? 191. And we still have 33 in the army. This is an absolutely bonkers game. And here comes the drop. This is an issue. This is an actual issue. There are not that many Disruptors for good efficient trading. There are a lot of Zealots and some Immortals, so there is some decent burst damage. The Stalker count is phenomenal too. I don't know why we're killing those rocks, but that's what we're doing. Zealot run by over here would do very, very well for Christianer. He's only at 143 supply to 106 right now, and this drop continues its reign of terror, its reign of chaos. This battery gets taken out. The other mining base that was still going on now gets denied as well. Zealot run by. We'll clear all of these SCVs. So we're heading into the final moments of this game. I can only imagine. There's 1 base mining left for Clem. Christianer, please kill this OC first. Oh, he's gonna go for the planetary right away. He says, I want to clear all of your mining right now. He's gonna get it. He's absolutely gonna get it. But we also have a bunch of Marines here from the right. Purification Nova does not hit. Actually hits more Zealots than Marines. Immortal still alive. It is 56 supply to 93. Clem still hanging in there, but by a thread. This orbital is here as well. This base is gonna end up falling. Christianer now can pull back and deal with this drop if he wants to. He is the one that's just outmining his opponent. There's no pressure on us to continue attacking. Just clear this base and we're good. Don't lose anything else against this. We have an army ready to deal with it. Christianer's gonna check the bottom side now. He's doing that with his entire army, which exposes him a little bit. I think he forgot about this base. He's rebuilding his own. I love that. I really do love that. We have no income, or practically no income for Clem. There's a Raven with quite a bit of energy. How many Ghosts do we have? Oh, we have quite a few actually. It's not enough to deal with this army. This is 4 Ghosts, 5 Marines and a Viking. Looks scary maybe with these medevacs, but gonna need to unload these units as well. Anti-armor missile or auto turrets? Okay, it's gonna be anti-armor missile. It's gonna hit on a couple of Zealots. We have 1 auto turret in here as well. We have 1 more available. So far a decent trade for Clem, honestly. I'm surprised by it, but it is happening. A pretty decent trade indeed. More Zealots now coming in. I mean, this should be impossible even for a Terran, no? 4 Marauders, 5 Marines, 4 Ghosts. Income 1100 to 139. Zealot now finds the final base. I mean, the amount of pressure that Christianer is putting onto his opponent just by mining is insane. It is really insane. Clem's gonna move in, but it's gonna get sandwiched here, and I think at this point it's just dead. I just don't see a way for for Clem to ever come back into this game. I mean, this is a nice start of a fight. Clem has not rebuilt his base and is being revealed. This is an insanely good fight for Clem. But it's just not good enough. We're going to get a pickup. Can we get the clears? Oh my god, the micro's too good. GG gets called. Christianer gets the win after 25 minutes of hard-fought battles. Phenomenal stuff. Really, one of the best TVPs I've seen in a long time, entertainment-wise. Just constant plowing of the armies into each other. And Christianer actually ends up with a win. Ends up losing 232 Zealots, 9 Colossus, 18 Disruptors, and 50 Stalkers. You know it's a good game if you lose more Zealots than the other guy lost Marine. Crazy stuff. All right, it's going to be it for me today. I hope you all did enjoy this. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see all of you next time for a new video. Bye-bye.